Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. I'm in the plant room today working on the ceiling, getting all the insulation bats in, and I'll be stapling the vapor barrier in place today and moving a lot of plants in. And one of the reasons why is that the temperature is supposed to go down to -2 degrees Celsius tonight, so a couple of degrees below freezing. And I don't really trust my trees outside, especially those ones under the benches. There's a possibility they could get frozen or, some good damage to them anyway. So I'm going to try and get the room finished today, move a lot of my trees inside. I think the ones in the greenhouse will be safe, but the ones under those benches, yeah, I want to get those in. So this coming up today in the Bonsai Zone. Here's a shot looking up at the ceiling. I've got all my woodwork sealed in with a rubberized sealer. I've got all my insulation bats in place. And now I've got to staple the vapor barrier in place, that insulated mylar foil. And then I'll seal all the cracks and joints with the greenhouse tape. And that'll seal it up so there can be no moisture condensing from the room here up into the ceiling. So that should make this ceiling last a lot longer than the other one. I've got the staple gun, so now I'll head up and staple the vapor barrier in place. And then I can staple this one over top. I'll stand on my water barrel. What could go wrong? There we go. That staple better. There we go. Okay. Off the water barrel. It's a little sketchy. I've got a beam here I can staple to. Like that. That's good. Like that. That's working really well. Like that. That can all be taped up. There's the old tape. This was just like packaging tape. And it sticks really well at first, and then once the glue dries up, it just doesn't stick. It just peels off. You can see it. Might as well not even be there. So yeah, since then I've used that furnace tape or the greenhouse tape, and that works really well. It sticks for years. I'm working on cutting out all the panels that are missing here. I buy this mylar foil in a big roll. This is the same kind of foil they use for insulating water heater tanks in your basement, pipes, and a general insulation. You can get it at most hardware stores. So I'm just using my measuring tape, kind of measuring out the panels, cutting them out with the scissors, and stapling them up to the walls. And so far it's going well. So I'll keep at it. After a quick break for lunch, I've got the silver high temperature tape out. It's a silver foil tape, the kind they use for wrapping furnace pipes. And I'm going to seal all the joints in the insulation now, the vapor barrier type mylar insulation. So up the ladder again I go. The furnace tape isn't quite as strong as the greenhouse tape, but it reflects the light better. And it does a good job. It lasts for quite a few years. So you can see that joint is nicely sealed up now. Yeah, it's getting nice and airtight now. All right, I'm going to go down this seam now. Like that. Seal her in. Oh yeah. I think I need just a little bit longer fingernails. It would help. Okay, so that is good. Let me put my scissors down. So I want to do this joint here. So just to hold it all in place. So we'll put that up there first and run it along like that. And that should hold it all up there. And then I can run it along here. Here's a view of the work completed this afternoon. So there's the corner that I filled in. I sealed around the door frame there, all up into the corner here, all sealed. That's all I can do for today. I've got to get the trees in now before I run out of time. So there's my trees that are in already, all doing well. The Canada arm is still up there. Yeah, so next job is to start bringing trees in. Before I bring the trees into the plant room, there's one more task I forgot that I have to do, and that's at the top of the greenhouse there. In the last video, remember those high winds that were buffeting around and the plastic was going all over the place in the greenhouse? Well, it's come loose up at the top, so there's a big hole in the roof of the greenhouse. And my plan's to leave the trees that are in the greenhouse in there overnight, even though it's dropping below freezing. I'll have the heater running. And the trees that I will move into the plant room are the ones that are underneath the tables over there. So, yeah, because they're not quite as warm. So I'll fix the greenhouse first, and then finally I can start bringing plants in. This greenhouse tape is super strong, super sticky, and it'll last a long time. I fixed a patch along here a couple of years ago, and it's still hanging in there nicely. So this cover in the greenhouse, it's just vapor barrier from a hardware store. It's quite thick. It's been on this greenhouse for 6 years now. 6. And it stood up really well. I've opened up the Cave of Wonders here, and I can start to get all my trees out and put them in the plant room. So here I go. It's actually quite nice and warm in there. So there's my yucca forest. I'll carry that out first. There we go. Watch out, ducks. I will have to prune back some of the trees to fit them in the plant room. This orange tree has a great big long shoot on it, so I'll cut it back just to make it a little more compact. So here I go. I think I'm going to take it right back to here. No, yeah, here. Just taking, you know, the long part of the shoot off. Some of this off. There's a long one here too that needs pruning back. That makes it a little more compact, and it'll fit in the plant room a lot easier. Into the plant room it goes. I've got a 2 little ficus here that's getting quite tall and needs cutting back, so I'm going to do that now before it goes inside. So I'll try and keep some foliage at the tips of all the branches if I can. Just cutting everything back. Some of these long ones, again, it's kind of grown tall and there's no foliage down lower on the branches, so I think I'll just have to hard prune them and see what happens. So here I go. Like that. And now it can go inside for the winter. These have really kind of ugly roots on it. I've tried correcting the roots several times and maybe they're getting better, but a difficult tree to bonsai successfully, I think, because of these large bulbous roots it gets, but we'll keep trying. I've got all the trees moved from underneath the benches, and I've taken the heater out. I'll put that in the greenhouse too, so I'll have that small one, I'll have that running probably down on the floor, and the large one up where it was. And that should keep it nice and warm tonight. Here's a look in the greenhouse now. So you can see it's quite full. There's my ficus root over temple down there. My kapok trees. My elephant bush. All the rest. I'm going to give everything a water tonight, and then close it all up, put all the heaters in. I've got the 2 heaters just sitting outside here at the moment. So they'll go inside the greenhouse, and then I'll close the door, and that'll be it. Oh, I just noticed back at the back there's a bit of a hole, so I can seal that up. I didn't check the back of the greenhouse. Kind of blew apart back there too. All right, I'll fix that and put everything away for the night, and everything should be okay for tomorrow. Let's go into the plant room now, and we'll see how crowded it is in there. And don't forget, I still have a whole greenhouse worth of plants to go in here still, so I think it's going to be really crowded. So here's the plant room. You can see there's a lot of plants in here, but it's not crowded. There's my top shelf up there. I changed the shelving around, so I have the highest shelf at the back now and the lower shelf here. I'll show you it from way back here so you can see a little better. Yeah, there's the shelf arrangement. So that works out a lot better for watering. I'm not sure if it's as good for light, but it's way better for watering and actually seeing the trees, which is important. Before, I could hardly reach the ones behind, and they'd get insects on them and I wouldn't even notice it. So it makes it a little lower on this lower shelf, the table down here. I've kind of got to get my taller trees in underneath this shelf, but I can do it. It's no problem. I've got lots of space over here still. I've only got a couple of trees in this area, and the back wall here, there's lots of space on these shelves to fit more trees. Over here is my yucca forest, and there's space up there for more trees still. And then I usually put a shelf here on top of my water barrel, so I can put a tree on top of there, and I can still dip my watering can into the barrel at the front. So it'll be a challenge. I just have to keep the trees healthy and alive this year, and then hopefully I can finish that big greenhouse, by spring. I may get a chance to work on it, still in this month of November. And, we'll see how much we can get done. And next year, hopefully I'll have more room. I'll still use this as a studio for filming and styling and that. It just won't be as crowded. I'll have most of my trees out in the large greenhouse in the backyard. When my trees were outside under those benches on the ground and I had that tarp over top of it, I did get one casualty. I think either rabbit or mice or something came in, and it was my ficus, my Green Island ficus. And yeah, it chewed the trunk. It took a chunk out of the trunk, chewed off quite a few branches, and almost through the one branch, was hanging down there. And I mean, it's going to recover. It was just a tree in training. I was just building up the trunk anyway, so yeah, they didn't do any harm really. I've got my 3 LED lights on. I've got the 2 up top and the one still mounted underneath this shelf from Shirley's Simple Shelving. That was a cool product. Yeah, so that's my 3 LED lights going, and they worked well last year. I was quite happy with them. Got my Soltech grow light up here, still mounted on the Canada arm. It's still working nicely, providing good light. I'm going to water the trees in the greenhouse, then put the heaters in, turn them on, and that'll be it for tonight. It's a little cramped in here for watering, but I can reach everything. Luckily, my watering can has a long neck and I got long arms, so I think I'll put the heaters down at the floor level because heat rises and that'll keep the entire greenhouse warm. That's closed for the night. I've got my heater adjusted so it's on now in this temperature, so it should keep it warm all night. I'll check it later on and make sure it's, nice and warm in there. It was kind of exciting when I was bringing my trees into the plant room They've been growing all summer, and a lot of them need pruning back to size, and so that'll be fun. That'll be coming up in some videos very soon. So that's it for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.